Hello and welcome once again for the 12th chemistry. In this particular lecture, we are going to study about the coordination compound. It's lesson number 1 of HSC board. In this particular lesson, we have to study the type of the ligands initially. Then we are going to study about the types of coordination sphere or complexes. Then we will be studying about the coordination number, different terms used in the coordination complexes, as well as after that we are going to study the Warner's theory of the coordination compound, then studying theory of the coordination compound, in which we are going to find out the effective atomic number. Then we will be studying about the IUPAC nomenclature, and in the second half of this lesson we will be studying about the isomerism in coordination compound. So let us begin with the introduction of the lesson. As you know, you can see the heading given here, or the name of the lesson is coordination compound. So what do you mean by the coordination compound? What do you mean by the coordination compound? Here I have taken one example for elaboration purpose. What is coordination compound? You know, we have studied already two different types of the bonds. One is ionic bond, and the second one is covalent bond. And the compound which will have the ionic bond, already we studied, it is called as ionic compound, whereas the compound which contains the covalent bond is referred as covalent compound. That all of us are knowing. And today we will be studying about coordination bond. And then we will understand what they mean by coordination compound. See, in case of the ionic bond or ionic compound, generally one atom will donate the electron and the other atom will accept the electron, and that is how there will be the formation of two ions which will be in bond. Right. These two ions are oppositely charged ions, and therefore there will be the force of attraction between the positive and negative ion which will keep them together. Whereas in case of the covalent compound, generally one atom, two different atoms shares the electron with each other, one or more electron with each other, and that is how the covalent compound is formed. So what will be the situation in case of the coordination compound? In case of the coordination compound, usually the sharing of the electron will take place as it is taking place in the covalent compound. But the sharing is little different than the original one. So let us see how the sharing takes place. So we have taken the example of the FeCN6, K4 FeCN6. In this case, this is referred as central metal, and these are the ligands. So each of the ligand is going to share a pair of electron to the central metal, and that pair will remain with both atom as well as the central metal atom as well as the ligand. Okay, shared by a single atom, donated by a single ligand, but will remain with both. Okay, that is called as coordinate bond. See, it must be clear that in case of the covalent bond, there is mutual sharing of one electron from each of the atom to form the covalent bond. Whereas in case of the coordinate bond, both the electrons will be shared by one group of atom, and that will be remaining with the central metal as well as the ligand. Therefore, it is called as coordinate bond, and the compound is referred as coordinate compound. Welcome back once again. In the first video, we have seen in the first video on the coordination compound, we have seen just the introduction part of the lesson. That is, what are the general terms, common terminologies which are used in the coordination compound. And now we are going to see the main, now we are going to see the types of the ligands.
Ligands can be divided into three parts, three types. Number one is monodentate ligand. Second type is polydentate ligand. And the third one is called as ambidentate ligand. So these are the three types of ligands, ambidentate ligands. First one, monodentate ligand. Second is the polydentate ligand, and the third one is ambidentate ligand. Now let us take one example, and we'll be discussing along with the example. We'll try to discuss the difference between this all three type of the ligands. Cyanide is the ligand which can be referred as monodentate ligand. It attached with one single atom. In the same way, you can have the example like chlorine, which is a single atom and can be attached to the central metal by the single atom. Hydrox, that is OH minus, is again an example of monodentate ligand. Let me tell you what is the meaning of monodentate ligand. Mono means single, dentate means toothed. So generally, monodentate ligands are the ligands which can attach to the central metal by the single atom, by the single tooth. It can attach to the central metal. Similarly, if you talk about the meaning of the second type of the ligand, that is polydentate ligands are the ligands where more than one atom is available for making the attachment with the or bond with the central metal. More than one tooth will be available. Polytoothed or polydentate ligand is nothing but the polytoothed ligand. Let us see the example of the polytoothed ligand. EDTA is a very famous ligand which is polydentate ligand. Ethylene diamine tetraacetate. So the structure of EDTA is like this. This is your ethylene. Then you have two amine group on either side of the ethylene. Then this amine is further attached with the acetate on both sides. This is the structure of your EDTA, ethylene diamine tetraacetate. Now you can find out how many dentates. Now you can find out how many tooths are available, how many atoms are available to connect with the central metal. You can just see this oxygen can form the bond with central metal. Even this oxygen, number one, two, three, four, five, and six. This all six atoms can form bond with the central metal, and therefore this particular ligand is referred as a hexadentate ligand. This is hexadentate ligand. Ethylene diamine tetraacetate is one of the good examples of polydentate, that is hexadentate ligand. And let us see the example of ambidentate ligand. Let us go for meaning in the beginning and then we'll go for the example. In case of the ambidentate ligand, mostly this is one of the good example where the sulfur as well as it can act as this way. Quite suitable example for ambidentate ligand. Now you can see here this sulfur can form bond with the central metal as well as the nitrogen from this group can form bond with the central metal. Same ligand can form attachment, can form bond with the central metal with two different atoms. That is why this is called as ambidentate ligand. See, there is a clear-cut difference between the polydentate ligand and ambidentate ligand. In case of the polydentate ligand, the atoms, more than one atom can form bond at a time with the central metal. Whereas in case of the ambidentate ligand, a single atom from the group from the ligand can form bond with the central metal at a time. That is how you can see these are the three types of the ligand: monodentate ligand, polydentate ligand, and ambidentate ligand. Next part of the lesson is classification of the complexes, type of the complexes. Already we have studied the coordination sphere. Coordination sphere is nothing but the complex, we know. And now we'll go for the classification. First of all, we will see the classification on the basis of the type of the ligand present in it. Now, the first type is homoleptic complex, and the second one is heteroleptic complex. Now, what is there in the homoleptic complex? Let us see. Let us take the example, then I will elaborate with help of the example how the complex is referred as homoleptic complex and why it is called as heteroleptic complex. So we can take example of this CONH3 6 times, wait, 3 plus is the example, good example for the homoleptic complexes, whereas in this case, in case of the heteroleptic complex, we can take example, same example, just will add one of the ligand, one more type of the ligand inside the complex, and we'll get the heteroleptic complex. So this particular ligand, this particular complex is referred as homoleptic complex, whereas this particular one is called as heteroleptic complex. Why it is called as homoleptic complex? See, I told you these types are based on the type of the ligand. Now you can see in this particular coordination complex, you have only single type of ligand. That is only ammonium ligand is present. Amine amine ligand, only amine ligand is present in the complex pair. Therefore, one type of the ligand, hence it is called as homoleptic ligand. Whereas in case of the heteroleptic ligand, you have two different types of the ligand in the coordination complex. Therefore, it is called as heteroleptic ligand. One is amine and the other one is chloride or Cl2. This is ammonia and the other one is chlorine. That is the difference between homoleptic and heteroleptic ligand. Now let us go for the second type of the complexes, that is based on the criteria in this case for classification of the complexes is charge present on the complex. In this case, just you take, let us go for example and then we'll elaborate a little more how one can distinguish between the cationic, anionic, and neutral ligands. Let us see the example. The same example we'll consider on this side as well. This one particularly, if you take as an example, that will be the good example of the cationic ligand. CONH3 6 times carries +3 charge on it, and therefore, as the complex is having positive charge, it can be referred as cationic complex. Here, you may consider this example of FeCN6, and it will have -4 charge, 4 minus. And as you can see, there is a negative charge on the complex. This is the complex. Here is the negative charge. Therefore, this type of the complex will be referred as anionic complex. Whereas you can take the neutral complex will be the complex without any charge. This sort of complex will not have the charge on it. Therefore, this is one of the good example for neutral complex. So complexes coordination. Therefore, coordination complexes can be divided into two different types on the basis of the type of the ligand used. First one is the homoleptic complex, where a single type of ligand will be present in the coordination complex, whereas in case of the heteroleptic complex, you will find more than one type of ligand is present in the coordination sphere. When you try to classify the complexes on the basis of the charge present on the complex, you can divide it into cationic, anionic, and neutral complexes. In case of the cationic complex, the overall charge in the complex will be positive, whereas in case of the anionic complex, the overall charge in the complex will be negative, whereas in where at the end you can say on the neutral complex there will be no charge, neither positive nor negative charge is present on the complex. Therefore, it is the neutral complex. Let us find out the effective atomic number present on the central or about the central atom. According to the scientific theory, every metal has the tendency to have the electronic configuration similar to that of the nearest noble gas, and while doing so, whatever ligands are attached to the central metal, it will try to accept the electron as per the noble gas configuration. So let us see what is effective atomic number and how one can find out the effective atomic number for the particular metal. So let us take one example and then we'll discuss about the effective atomic number. This is a common example which you need to remember and you can use it again and again for different purposes. Like this is the example. CONH3 6 times and it carries, the complex carries plus 3 charge. Now what is the effective atomic number of this theory? According to the Chadwick theory of this complex, the effective atomic number of this complex must be similar to that of the noble atomic number of the noble gas near to this particular central metal. And you know, the noble gas which is nearest to cobalt is krypton with the atomic number 36. Now we'll try to find out the effective atomic number. And the formula to find out the effective atomic number is Z minus X plus Y. Here Z is atomic number of central atom, central metal. X is number of electron lost by central metal, and Y are nothing but number of electron donated by ligands, or even you can see number of electron accepted by the central metal. So just we'll try to find out the effective atomic number in this case, and if it is near to that of noble gas, atomic number of the noble gas, then you can say this particular complex is stable complex. So everybody knows that the cobalt is having atomic number equals to, yes, it is 27. Atomic number of the cobalt is 27. The charge present on the cobalt will be plus 3, will be equals to plus 3. Therefore, you can see the number of electron lost by the cobalt in order to acquire the charge is plus 3. Number of electron lost by the cobalt is 3, and the number of electron accepted, that is Y, or donated by the ligand or accepted by the central metal, is equals to the number of ligand into 2. Why? Because each of the ligand will share one pair of the electron and we have 6 ligands. Therefore, Y will be equals to 12. Hence, EAN for this complex will be Z minus X plus Y, which will be equals to 27 minus 3 plus 12. Now you can see 27 minus 3 will be 24 plus 12, which is equals to 36. And this is nothing but the atomic number of the nearest noble gas, krypton. Therefore, you can see this complex is stable complex. Thank you.